If you enjoy this video or find it informative, I would ask you to hit the subscribe button and the notification bell beside it. Leave a comment and maybe hit the like button on the video. That just helps this video do a little better, helps this channel grow, and I would love it if you could become a part of the community here by getting involved on a daily basis as I upload videos every day. Thank you very much. Enjoy the video. Free thinkers, welcome to the Hoggcast. How are you doing today? I hope you're doing fine. I certainly am, I suppose. Okay, what do we have for you today on the Hoggcast? We have a video, probably won't be as long as the others. We've only got one thing to go over, and that is this case of karma, I suppose you could call it. Now, this is something that has taken the form numerous times over the last 4 years. You know, I know some liberals, quote-unquote liberals, I know some leftists, and they have an all-consuming hate of Donald Trump. But if you ask them why they hate him so much, they'll get angry with you because they can't articulate into words what it is they hate. They've been programmed, usually by very subtle and malignant means, from that box they have in the front room, to believe a certain thing and think a certain way. And that's why I cut the cable. I haven't had a television since 2012, and I'm so much the better for it. I don't listen to anything TV says. I do my own research. I recommend you do the same. It's one of the main reasons why I took a television overlay for my overlay on this video, the TV you can see, because I wanted to be the new box in the living room that doesn't fill your head full of propaganda, but instead opens your mind a little bit to new ideas. So we're going to get into this clip. This is a man who spits basically at a Trump flag and then tries to quickly drive away, hurling insults before crashing into a lamppost or a pole. It's what a lot of people would call karma, and we're going to get into that. So without further ado, let's get into this video. If you haven't yet, please like, subscribe, hit the notification bell and share this video around. It's needed now more than ever because YouTube is unfortunately smothering a lot of independent content creators and they're limiting cultural commentary reach. So it's harder now than ever. So without further ado, let's go.
You lost. You lost. All that hate. It's unfortunate that it happened, but man, that is. Oh, and now you got the cops here. Oh man. Yeah, he stood on the guy. I know, he stepped on it. I was the one paying attention. You know what I mean? Tell me you got all that. I did.
You did?
I did.
Can you send it to him and then he crashes it?
I got you.
Can you send it to me?
Okay. Thank you very much. All that hate, bro. No.
Okay, so that was a clip. Now I want to go back over and we'll go over a couple of more things in detail because there's some good points about this that I want to make. Okay, so the first point I would like to make, in the beginning, as you're seeing now, so the first thing I'd like to say is obviously the disgusting the spit, essentially. Now, a lot of people on mainstream media and social media are saying that it was just the Trump supporter that did it because you can visibly see him doing it. That's not the case. If you listen, you can hear that he does that in response to the guy in the car, who's obviously a Biden voter, who spits first. Now, does that make it right? No, of course it doesn't. It's a disgusting thing to do. It's one of the most disgusting habits that people can do. Obviously, spitting isn't physically harmful, but it is the ultimate act of disrespect. That's why they do it. That's why very often you'll see when these counter protests happen. And interestingly enough, isn't it interesting how it's always the Democrats or left-wing people who are doing counter-protest. Whenever a Democrat group or a left-wing group has a protest of their own, conservative groups never counter-protest. We respect that they have the right to have their own opinions, but whenever conservatives or Trump supporters or right-wing people in general have a protest, the left always do a counter-protest, and they deliberately try and get as close to us as possible because they want to do things like this. They want to spit, they want to cause trouble. They know full well that they have the mainstream media's backing, because the favourite little trick the mainstream media does, they do that in the United States, but especially here in Britain, is they will write it up when a conservative group has a protest and left-wing radical leftist groups turn up to do a quote counter-protest, and then they start trouble. The mainstream media will write it up as far-right protest occurs and there was X amount of arrests, say 100 arrests, and there was like £700,000 worth of damage, for example, but they leave out all the key context. They do that on purpose. Why do they do that? Because they know that the minds of the people, and people generally, unfortunately, the general public, tends to be quite naive, quite dumb. Their brains, their unconscious bias, and unconscious bias that's been given to them by the mainstream media, will fill in the blanks. So if they call it a quote far-right protest, and then they read 100 arrests, they read £750,000 worth of damage, or dollars worth of damage, their unconscious bias will fill it in as Trump supporters committed $750,000 worth of damage. Trump supporters were arrested. 100 Trump supporters were arrested, for example, etc., etc. This is the supreme manipulation of the mainstream media. Next, the next point I'd like to make is this. Obviously, the incident itself. Now, if you look, see, his head is not even in the right direction. He's looking backwards whilst the car is going forwards. How irresponsible is that? But of course, the Marxist education system today teaches these millennials, because he is quite young. As you saw when he got out of the car, he's only in his early 20s. They don't teach responsibility. So you can see, look, his head is literally the wrong way. He should be facing forwards, but he's not. He's facing backwards. And only when he realises that he's about to crash does he try and make a manoeuvre. But you would have thought that when he felt himself going over the curb, that he would realise there's an issue. But he has such an all-consuming hatred. His emotions take over and he doesn't act rationally. Next, I must say, give credit where credit's due. You know, that's something that makes a man a man. That separates the boys from the men, the wheat from the chaff. And that is not how much you can bench press, but it's taking responsibility for your own actions. Something that is very rare on the left, but at least he superficially takes responsibility for his actions. Take a look.
Good on the guy. I know, he stepped on it.
Right. You know, I wasn't the one paying attention. You know what I mean?
So it says, I wasn't the one paying attention. Do you know what I mean? So at least, look, at least he took the precaution. He's got his mask on, you know, that's fine, of course, if you're out and about, you're supposed to have your mask on. But isn't it funny how he lowered his mask to spit? What's the point in having one if you're going to treat people like that, truly? But you look, as I said, credit's where credit's due. He admitted he was wrong. He said, I wasn't concentrating. Whether or not he's sincere or whether he's just saying that because he knows he's being recorded and he's got a police squad car up his side, who knows?
I know, he stepped on it.
Right. You know, I wasn't the one paying attention. You know what I mean?
And finally, I'd just like to speak about, as you can see, there's a Trump supporter there with his red flag who came over to speak to him. He said, look, have you got it on film? That guy. Now, you often see the woke left and Democrats, radical left, attacking Trump supporters. As I said earlier, These protests and counter-protests only happen one way. Now, I'm sure you've heard of a matador who waves a red flag to a bull, and the bull, who only has a brain about that big, just charges at the flag. Now, have you ever noticed that when these Democrats and these left-wingers are attacking Trump supporters, they always go for the red flag? Now, as you can see, the Trump supporter flag is red. And a lot of the time, human nature doesn't mimic the natural world. We see this a lot, and I can't help to notice a correlation between left-wingers who all act on emotion. They don't think logically or critically, which is the same as a bull and many animals, to be honest. They don't think critically. They just act on instinct and emotion. They've been taught by the box in the front room, in their living room, that orange man is bad, and to react on emotion. So when they see a red flag with the word Trump on it, it is literally like a red flag to a bull, and they just charge like a bull. This is why you see middle-aged women. You'd think middle-aged women would have more decorum, more self-respect, more femininity, but this is why you'll see an obese middle-aged woman charging at a 6'5" man, 300-pound man, very healthy man, obviously a man who's able to physically defend himself, and you'll have a 5-foot-tall obese Democrat woman, middle-aged, and she'll charge a Trump supporter who has a Trump flag because she's acting on emotion. She isn't thinking critically at all. She isn't stopping and saying, hey, I'm a middle-aged woman, I'm obese, and that man with the red Trump flag is 6'5", 300 pounds, etc., etc. She just thinks red flag, red flag, red flag, and she just charges like a bull towards the flag. It's like the Trump supporter is the matador, and the Trump flag is the red rag that the bull charges towards, and the obese woman is the bull. Do you see what I mean? Life often imitates art. That's just a pet theory I have. Anyway, let me know what you think in the comment section below about this incident. If you haven't yet, please like, subscribe, hit the notification bell and share this video around. That'll help me stay competitive with the likes of CNN and MSNBC, who are unfortunately getting prioritised, and I need your help now more than ever, because YouTube is unfortunately trying to smother out independent commentary, cultural commentary channels. So if you could share this video around to your social media feeds, it only takes literally a couple of seconds, and it will really help not only me but any other independent commentary channels you value. Anyway, thank you for your time. I appreciate you engaging with me. Leave a comment below. I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye. If you enjoyed that video, if I could ask you please to subscribe to the channel, hit that little subscribe bar down below, hit the notification bell beside it, and put it on notifications to all notifications. That will just notify you when I upload. I upload videos almost every day. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. I'll see you tomorrow.